Well, now that Illinois' former governor is officially charged with government corruption, Rod Blagojevich now faces a tough legal battle in court. Blagojevich was, of course, charged in a 19-count federal indictment that accused him of trying to auction off President Obama's vacant U.S. Senate seat, among a slew of other crimes. And joining us today is our legal expert, Attorney Thomas Glasgow, to give us some legal perspective on what's ahead for the former governor. Good to see you.
Good morning.
Now, we were struck by yesterday the difference in the way the indictment itself came down as opposed to the December news conference with Pat Fitzgerald. Very quiet.
Well, I think part of that stems from a defense motion that was filed recently in front of Judge Holderman. And the motion essentially tried to get the prosecutors excluded from the case based on those December 9th statements. Judge Holderman in his ruling said, look, I'm not going to exclude or preclude you from filing this motion in front of someone else. He didn't believe that there was any legal authority or basis for the defense to make that motion, but thought that the proper judicial officer to decide that would be the one that the case was ultimately assigned to, and that's now Judge Zagel.
Gotcha. What kind of challenges does Blagojevich's legal team? You've got the tapes, you've got all this. They've got apparently what they believe is a strong case. What kind of challenges do they face?
I think they're going to have a lot of challenges based on the fact that you've got a RICO violation, a RICO and conspiracy violation, which is incredibly easy for the prosecution and very difficult for the defense to defend against. This was designed to take on organized crime, and the U.S. Attorney most likely had to go up the chain of command to the highest levels in the Justice Department in order to get authorization to use this in a political prosecution. Now, that being said, Mr. Blagojevich is going to have to defend against the statements, the out-of-court statements, by the other people involved in the crime. Wow. It's a hearsay exception, so all of that's going to come in. All those tapes are going to come in. John Harris is cooperating with the government, so therefore they're going to now have a face behind the tapes to be able to come in and testify and give you spicy testimony during the course of the trial and give you that insider's view, much like when you saw the Ryan prosecution.
What about this big media blitz? How will that play in? Can they use that? Can the prosecution actually use that against them?
Well, anything that Blagojevich has said can be used against him. And during the period of time from the 9th until now, he has continually put himself out there in order to have more and more press. Is that going to hurt him in the long run? I do think it is, because they're going to be scrutinizing those statements and utilizing any statement that they can against him in the courts.
Now, this whole thing was allegedly about money. Can he even afford a good defense?
He's saying that he can't. They've frozen the Friends of Blagojevich. He's not going to be able to use the access to that money to pay his legal fees. He doesn't have a job currently. If he doesn't have a job, and this is going to be in a very, very expensive case because just the copying cost alone is going to be extensive. The $20 million that I believe the law firm spent or alleged to have spent on Ryan's campaign or Ryan's defense, that's a lot of money for somebody to do pro bono. I don't know whether or not he's going to be able to afford that. If he can't, he may ask the court for a public defender paid for by the Federal Defender Program.
Wow, and so the people will be paying for that even.
Taxpayers, again, would be paying for the defense in this matter.
Well, we will no doubt be talking to you a whole lot more about this one. Good to see you as always, my friend.
Good to see you.
We'll be right back after this.